Hi everyone, it's Casey Williams. A few years ago when Buick unveiled the Encore crossover, it was really just a party of one. Here was a luxurious, subcompact crossover in a class that was dominated by midsize and large vehicles. But soon followed cars like the Audi Q3 and the Mercedes GLA. And that class is really one of the fastest growing classes out there right now. But there were some complaints about the Buick, as nice as it was. It was a little bit underpowered, and the interior was confusing, and it could use a little bit of an exterior upgrade too. So for 2017, for a midlife cycle refresh, Buick's updated the Encore, and it's back better than ever. So let's go have a look at it. Well, the biggest update you're going to see from the exterior is really the grille and the headlamps. You see the waterfall effects kind of a little bit more in the background. It's got the chrome winged logo that's new now for Buick, and a color Buick crest here in the middle as well. So again, just a little freshening on the front, connects it to the Opel counterpart that's sold in Europe, and also kind of connects it to the 1950s look as well. So I think it's really classy. Heritage looks good. Light tubes here for the running lights. Again, I think it looks a lot sportier. The old one had the big chrome, heavy bars in the middle, and it just looked a little kind of old, a little old-fashioned. I think this is a lot fresher, a lot more youthful. Come around the side, 18-inch alloy wheels, and you can see that's not a very big car. Actually sits on the same architecture as the Chevy Sonic subcompact. So again, a very small footprint, but the nice thing with that footprint, the size of it, makes it very urban friendly. And if you live in an area of town where you've got a lot of parallel parking or in tight downtown garages, it's fantastic. Just great for slipping through traffic. So come around the back. Again, from some angles it looks a little tall and a little narrow, but I think it looks pretty nice as well. Have the satin finished exhaust outlet. Kind of the lower fascia's redesigned to look a little more like an SUV. It's a manual hatch. And once you get inside, there's a fair amount of room. Both the back seats fold down. Actual spare tire, which is kind of rare in a compact car. And you just got all the utility you need. Again, if you've got 3 kids and all their gear and your family, you probably don't have enough space for that. But for a couple people on a week-long trip, plenty of space. Well, if I had one gripe with the previous iteration of the car, it probably was the powertrain. And it has 6-speed automatic transmission, as does this one. Had a 1.4-liter turbocharged engine, as does this one. But it just felt a little bit underpowered, especially with the all-wheel drive system. So it's kind of a heavier vehicle for a car in this class. Well, they went back and redesigned, added a little more horsepower to the engine, especially in the sport touring model that we have. So you have 153 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque. Again, made possible by the turbo on the engine. This is much, much better. A little more power off the line, a little more power when you're going up hills, and it just seems a little more confident out on the open road. Again, this one has a 6-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive. So fuel economy. Well, this has auto stop-start, which pauses the engine at a stop. And that does improve fuel economy. So this thing gets 26 miles per gallon in the city, 31 miles per gallon on the highway. But you'll notice some mid-sized crossovers that are kind of in that league too, so it's not an outrageous amount of fuel economy. But the thing that really bothers me about auto stop-start is, it stops, the fan slows down, especially in the morning when it's really cold, or in the summer when you want the air conditioner on full blast. And unlike a lot of those systems, you can't defeat this one. So it turns itself off, it turns itself on, and it's as smooth as those systems can be coming on and off. But still, I think it's just a little bit annoying. I think that Buick can work on a better way of handling that. Well, my second kind of gripe about the previous iteration of this was the interior. The interior kind of had this German, it was actually the German design from the Opel products they sell in Europe. The buttons were confusing, there's a whole bunch of buttons. You had a screen coming out of the dash and a little wheel down below, you had to figure it out. This is much, much nicer. This echoes the new Buick Envision midsize crossover, the new Buick LaCrosse sedan. Kind of has the wing motif here in the middle, looks nice. Nice stitch materials, padded dash. I think it just looks a lot more upscale. The seats in this one, they're actually cloth and vinyl. They're not heated, which I think a car in this class, really in this price point, really should have heated seats. You can get a heated steering wheel in the vehicle. This one does not have it, but it is nice and leather wrapped and very well made. This seat over here is a manual adjusted seat. This one's power on the driver's side. Again, just a little bit of an oversight. Dual zone automatic climate control. I think that is nice. You can get a sunroof. This one does not have a sunroof. So again, it's a fairly basic model, even with the sport touring package. It does have Bose audio, and I really do like most of the touchscreen. I think this is a lot easier to use than the old system. You can dial in your stations right there. You've got satellite radio, very easy. Or you can swipe them, iPad style. I think that's also very nice. It's got navigation. Again, so I think it works out well. One little minor thing I think I'd like to have, volume knob and a tuning knob. So to tune, you have to kind of click up here on the dash, and I just think it's kind of annoying. I just wish automakers would just put volume and tuning and just be done with it. But I think the car, again, I think the size of it's right. The backseat has enough space to get a couple people, 3 people in a pinch across town. The kid fits back there. If you're going to load 4 people up and head across the country, this might not be your best choice. But this is really a good car for urban driving. It has a blind spot warning system on it. It has the rear cross path detection. Both great systems if you're going to be driving in urban traffic all the time. And it's big enough and competent enough that you can get on the highway and drive it if you want to. So just keep in mind that if you want something bigger, there are other vehicles that, in the GM lineup and even the Buick lineup now, but it might be a little bit better suited for you. Buick took a pretty big risk when it introduced the Encore. Now here is this American luxury brand introducing an entry-level subcompact car to customers who are used to Buicks being rather large cars. But it took off, becoming one of their very best-selling cars. Not only that, but there are other automakers who have followed them into the market, and it's a market that continues to grow. So we talk about price in this car. Well, this is not a cheap car. Prices start right at $23,915. This one, as equipped, $31,220. With all it has on it, the size of it, and comparing against cars like I said, the Audi Q3 and the Mercedes GLA and other cars to come, I think they hit a price point that's okay. But you don't buy this car because you want size. You buy this car because you want luxury in a compact package, and you actually covet that compact package for your convenience. So all in, I think a very nice car. And I really think the changes that they made for 2017 with the styling inside and out and the engine upgrades, I think are spot on. So next week we'll have another fun car, and until then, storm forward.